Ships at Sea. You're watching Hub Radio Phoenix with Mr. Ray Michaels.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, Ron Lutters, Mrs. Lutters' favorite boy, since I'm the only boy in the family.
And she always said how special you were.
I am. I'm very special. You know, I tell myself that all the time, Ray. Welcome to the show tonight here. This is Backstreet Gossip, and we have a lot of things for you. We're going to have a candidate for the Arizona Attorney General, and we're going to have another individual, one of your favorites, because he's on one of the other shows, and he's going to be here, and he's going to talk about the nonsense that's going on in this state legislature.
It's happening right now. As we speak, it's happening.
We've actually asked some legislators to be here tonight, and they're still in committee meetings, and I guess they're beating each other up.
We celebrated our 100th year anniversary back in, 2012,
yes.
Right? So you think 10 years
Valentine's
later,
Day.
110 years, everybody pretty much knows what's going on, right?
Right.
Yeah, not too much, not too many hiccups. It should be running like clockwork.
Yeah.
Not so much so.
Backwards clockwork. You know, they've really mess on their hands. But before we get going here, it's really important that we talk about the big thing that's going on in the world today, and that's the Russian invasion of the Ukraine.
That it is actually an invasion, or they're just kind of visiting for a little
You mean
while?
kind of like Nancy Pelosi was talking? It's an invasion, and it's this, and it's that, and it's a takeover.
They kind of take the words and bring different meanings to it.
Well, you know, when you look at January 6th and all of the things that they talked about, oh my gosh, they're trying to take Ukraine, right?
Our hearts go out to not only family and friends, colleagues that I've worked with over the years, as well as some very...
And we had Arthur here the other night.
Yeah.
His girlfriend is still in Kyiv.
Yeah.
Heard lately what is going on there.
Now, do you say Kyiv or Kiev?
Kyiv. Kiev is in Russia. Kyiv is in the Ukraine.
Well, that's not what Mark said.
Well, Mark Levin, what does he know? He's back
Probably
east.
a lot.
What does he know? At any rate, I did watch him last night. Boy, he's mad as heck, and he ought to be. And
Yeah.
there's a lot around to the. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One, the Russian mighty army. It ain't so awesome, is it?
Well, they had 40 miles of tanks, I hear, right? Is that
Have
true?
you seen the photograph? I've seen some photographs. They are just piles of junk. They've been attacked and attacked and attacked by the Ukrainians, and they're just they can't move. And it's
And that's tough if you're a tank, not to be able to move.
Right, and they got Molotov cocktails. They've been burning these things out. I've read Putin says they've only lost about 500 soldiers. I've heard the more official outcome was 4,500, and then I did happen to read that they think that the Russians have now lost over 10. Even if it was 4,500, remember we lost a lot in. It was 10 years. We lost 50,000.
Yeah.
But if that in 10,000 in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
wow! At that rate, there won't be any. One of the things that really excited me when I heard, I have always thought that Russia was a.
Well, that's what that we hear. Yes.
It's a great country. Well, now we find that the economy of South Korea is larger than the economy of Russia.
It's natural resources.
I think it's the system, the communist system. But one of the things, Ray, I heard this last night. They did a special, and they said that the German economy is 3 times larger than the Russian economy. 3 times, Ray.
That's incredible.
And that they have almost committed with 200,000 troops trying to surround the Ukraine, that they have committed probably 80-some% of their resources. Looks like the that's what makes world power. They're really not. And that, I mean, that's enough, to be honest with you.
Well, you just need one, right?
Well, depends on how big they are.
Yeah.
A tactical nuke, which I don't ever be used. But now we have a big conundrum here in America. What do we do with the Russian oil, Ray? Do we keep buying it? It seems so foolish because we're going to send $6 billion in aid to the Ukrainians, and at the same time we're purchasing oil from the Russians. It just doesn't seem logical to me.
Well, there's some organizations, I'll say that are making money either way. They make it from the war of the people who are winning and the people who are losing. And you know, it came about because and he
President
started
in name only.
Yeah, he started canceling all the things that were in place, completely energy independent, and we were. So put us in this position because, from what I understand, the Keystone Pipeline would be well for completion fairly shortly. The coal plants that he shut down, and you know, we heard Jen Psaki come on and say, "Well, there's 9,000 leases that they have. Why don't?" And yeah, you might have one core that is up, but you may have surrounding areas that you can't just say, "Well, they have 9,000." Go and drill anywhere.
But
No,
only 100 of them are producing.
yeah, oil is in certain spots. It's not everywhere. You don't just put it in the ground anywhere. It takes a long time to set up as well.
And so now, this is some of the amazing things that I can't believe that the Pino has done, President in name only. They're notifying China of some of the movements of the Russians, the movements of the Ukrainians, so that China doesn't get involved. China turns around and tells the Russians right away what's going on. Now, the Pino has allowed the Russians to intercede in discussions with Iran and their nuclear discussions. And the Russians are intermediary party that are negotiating for both sides. How do you think this is going to turn out?
Well, not well. I mean, his hands in Ukraine. He has his hands in Russia. He has his hands in China. He has intimate relations with all three of these countries. There is no winning.
And now I read today where they're talking about, the United States is talking about buying oil from Venezuela, who is an ally to.
It's all messed up. What we're going to be talking about some border things coming up because everybody's worried about the border, right?
Yes, and we're
But
more
there's border
concerned about
issues.
their border, Ray, than we are about our.
When you say we, you're not talking about you and I.
No, not you and I.
Who are we talking about?
It's the Pino administration. Pino, president, name only, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
This guy is crazy. They're moving people all around the United States. And God bless the Ukrainian people. No, I almost made the same mistake the president, the Pino, made. Because in his speech the other night, he was talking about the Ukrainians, and he said the Iranians.
Crazy.
So it was really nuts. I do. It's
You know,
funny.
they had an article come out that said that they're disguising the U.S.-Mexico border as the Russian-Ukrainian border so that people will support securing it.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the Babylon Bee, it's so that you just know, it is the,
It's farcical.
it's a farce. Yes.
Yeah.
They always print little stories that are totally untrue.
And people read it and they
Read it and
believe
they-
it.
Just crazy to read that stuff. But, you know, Ray, we've taken in Afghanistanis, you know, from the disaster last summer in
Yes.
August. We are now taking in Ukrainians, and now the first of them are moving into California and the Bay Area. And who knows what these people are like.
So they're coming from a war-torn area into a war-torn area. Have you seen San
It's
Francisco
probably,
lately?
I haven't been there.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in 20 years, and from what I've heard, I don't want to be there.
No.
It was a beautiful city.
Gorgeous.
And Golden Gate Bridge and, the little trolley cars and that.
Ghirardelli Square, yeah.
And then, of course, they had a beautiful Chinatown. I love Chinese food. And so when I was there, I think I must have, eaten at about 15 little Chinese places.
Yeah, I can tell, Ron.
Thank
can
you.
tell.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. So,
Well, the thing about Chinese food is you eat it, and then an hour later, you
you gotta
right?
eat some
Yeah,
more.
okay.
So that's right. You just walk down the street and you hit about 6 of these places.
That's right, that's
while
right.
you're going down the street. Well, listen, we're going to be back, and we're going to be with a candidate for the attorney of the state of Arizona.
What's with your speech impediment tonight?
Well, I'm from Illinois. Another comment. So,
Don't forget the Iranians and their border. Don't forget.
so at any rate, and you're going to find out a little bit about our border issue, because this individual, I'm not going to tell you who it is, he has spent a lot of time working on border issues, and she's our very own. We'll be right back. See you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, you're probably looking at our set here and saying, what in the world are they doing? I haven't seen this. And look at how I'm just look at my shirt. This is a striped
don't
shirt.
wear stripes.
It's striped, prison stripes. Anyway, we want to know what you think of our various sets, because we are going to select one, and we want you to help us select what our background should be. Well, here we are, and we have this lovely young woman, and she's got a great deal of experience. Her name is Tracy Cooper.
Lacey.
Lacey. Did I say Tracy?
I'm sorry, what?
Did I say Illinois?
You did.
You did.
Okay.
You said Iranians, too.
She's
so
from Illinois. No, she's not. At any rate, Lacey Cooper, and right here, and she's right here, and she's lovely, and she has more experience than you can, that her great appearance would indicate. You've spent years involved in immigration issues, haven't you?
Yes, thank you for that very nice compliment. My years are more than I appear. Yes, I was a border security section chief at the United States Attorney's Office, and I did immigration work for
So what does that title mean?
It means that I led a team of attorneys and staff who day in and day out were enforcing our country's border laws. I specifically supervised Yuma sector. So we had 3 attorneys usually in our Yuma office, our satellite office, but our Phoenix attorneys would also help with prosecuting crimes occurring in the Yuma area, including smuggling of people across the border, the smuggling of drugs into the country, people coming into the country illegally, all of those things.
Give us an idea, what years were you there doing that?
I started there in 2006, no, 2013,
Okay.
and I just left last year, March of 2020 after the new guy moved into the White House.
Well,
I know.
Ron, so this is very, very interesting because we can hear firsthand for our audience somebody who is there trying to enforce the laws and the Constitution, and you see how it was handled by one administration going into another administration. So this is so interesting for me, and Ron, I know for you
Well, I
too.
think she'd been 3 administrations. She was in 13.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And
Right, so you saw transition to one and then transition back to the other one because it's really, I mean, it's the
Biden
Biden administration. Yeah.
and were president and vice president.
Now, speaking of
In name
Obama, you know, we have St. Patty's Day coming up, and you want to put an O in front of anybody's name, right?
That's right.
So it'll be O. Biden, Obama, right? O. Cooper,
Oh, Cooper.
O. Michaels.
Yours
I
kind
like
of
that,
works.
yeah.
Oh, Cooper, I don't think that really has.
I didn't
Doesn't
work
have a
either.
ring.
All right, so tell us about the transitions from administration.
Yeah, so when I started, it was the Obama administration, and I will tell you that there was some enforcement of border laws happening during that administration, way different from what's happening now with the Biden administration. We were actually enforcing the law. Now, not to the degree that we did under the Trump administration. Things really new U.S. attorney, and we started to be much more aggressive with prosecuting people coming across the border illegally and prosecuting the smugglers who are bringing people here. And then that changed again during COVID. So think about how quickly that was. We got a new U.S. attorney in April or May of 2019. And then by March of 2020, we were shutting down how we did immigration enforcement entirely because everyone was just being sent directly back across the border using Title 42 in the public health emergency. Now, we were very, very successful under the Trump administration of deterring people from coming into the country illegally. One, because we were more aggressive with criminal immigration enforcement, but also the migrant protection protocols, the Remain in Mexico program. That got rolled out while I was a border security section chief. And for, listeners who are not familiar with it, it said that people who came to the United States and made an asylum claim was wonderful. And it's just that we were going to vet that claim before we let them into the country.
Well, update everybody on that Remain in Mexico policy. It is, from what my understanding, and I'm not an attorney, I played one on TV, but I'm not one, people who go through a country must seek asylum in that country first before going through another country, right? If they needed asylum for any reason, right? So they were going through Mexico, that country, to come to the United States. And he was saying, look, international law says you have to go to the first country you come to, not to us. So you have to go to Mexico until we can process you here. Is that to sum it up?
You're describing more safe third country rule, but the Remain in Mexico program is a slightly different statute that's being at play there, and it's folks can be asked to wait in the country that they pass through before their asylum claim is vetted before they're allowed into the country. It put an end to catch and release. It just put an end to catch and release, and so anyone who came to the United States with a bogus asylum claim, knowing that they had a bogus asylum claim, and now they were going to have to wait in Mexico until they were allowed into the country, they stopped coming.
Right.
Why would they come here to wait in Mexico for someone to tell them what they are? It's a bogus claim. So the only people who came were people with viable asylum claims, which is why we saw a tremendous decrease in illegal immigration during the end of 2019 and early 2020.
Let's really get to the real nitty-gritty on this. Why does this policy exist of just letting people in, and then, and I've heard, we'll come back and before a judge in 5 years. Who knows where they're going to be? Why are we doing that? Is there a reason? I mean, I think I know, but I want to hear it from somebody who's been on
The law allows someone to be held in custody while they're having their asylum claim vetted. Waiting 3 years for your asylum claim to be vetted is a very long time. Now, for people who are in custody, it doesn't take as long. But imagine if the 2 million people, or it's 2 million apprehensions, but all the folks who came in the country last year, if they were all being held in custody, waiting for their return to see an immigration judge, that's a lot of people to be held in custody. There's a case that came out. It didn't actually resolve by going through the full court process. Instead, there was a settlement. It's called the Flores Settlement Agreement. And it says that a child can't be held for more than, I think it's 20 days. Mm-hmm. And then it got expanded to say a parent with that child also cannot be held for more than 20 days. So you have to release those folks from detention.
Why the stay in Mexico policy was implemented, right?
Because they didn't apply to American law.
Right.
Then they're going to be put back in Mexico,
Right.
released from custody, not detained, but
Right.
wait in another country until your asylum claim is vetted.
So is it we don't have the judges to do the processing of these people who want to come to us, or is it just it takes that long to vet them, or there's just such a magnitude of people coming in that it overwhelms the system? I mean, where's that taking place?
The number of people is exorbitant. There's just so many people coming into the country right now and making these claims, and you have to get them in front of a judge. So it has gone up from 2 years waiting period to 3 now in order to get through the process because of the number of people. If we had more judges, that would be great. The other problem that we have with is that the judges actually are under the Department of Justice. Did you know that? They're not an independent judiciary. They work for Attorney General. You have a turnover in Attorney General, and you will have a turnover in that they
Right.
want the judges to follow, and then suddenly, there's guidance that goes out that they should just, close the cases of, certain immigrants instead of letting them get through all the way through their court proceeding. It's troubling. That's not how it's supposed to work. We should have an independent judiciary that operates, separately from the executive branch, I think.
Absolutely.
When these people, I can understand why they would want to come to America. We won the lottery by being here and being born
Yeah.
here. But, the people who do this legally, and I spoke to somebody the other day, and Steffi that was here, and we weren't here, Ray, when she was here, and she's from Honduras, and she's applied for citizenship. And I said, haven't you gotten your citizenship yet? She says, no, I've got a ways to be here, show that you're an upstanding citizen, or will be an upstanding citizen, and take the tests and everything, pay the fees, and I don't know how much that is. And it seems so ridiculous that we have such a great process to become an American, and I welcome those people. I think it's great if you want to come here and do it the right way. But then these other people come here and they just blow right past the rules and regulations. Now, they're not citizens, but we already know that in, I think it was Arizona, they said, 20,000 people had voted that were not citizens of the United States?
I don't know.
It was a large number. I was shocked. Mm-hmm. And it troubles me. And so now you're running for the, and this is the bulk of your campaign, I think, and it's a good position to be in. Because I know I am really torqued off when I think about all these people coming to my country and just ignoring our rules.
Right.
And if you break into my country, what else will you break into? My home, my properties? Big question mark.
It's interesting because when you think of breaking in, we do have front doors to our country. They're called ports of entry. And someone could go and present themselves at a port of entry and ask for asylum. But we have a law, a federal law, that says even if somebody comes into the country illegally, they can still ask for asylum. So they're basically breaking in through the window of the home, right? And then they can get prosecuted for committing that crime of coming in illegally, and then they can go claim asylum. And I-
Sounds a bit ridiculous.
It is, and I think it's just because it's an ancient law, ancient by, modern standards. There was a time when it would have been difficult, maybe, for someone to find a port of entry. They would have just come to any spot in the border and, cross.